Okay, hello again. I'm going to explain briefly what's the plan, what we are going to do now. We are going to contact straight away to Thomas or Carlson, who is in Sweden. Unfortunately, he can't stay today here with us because he has had an accident, a terrible disease, and hopefully he will stay with us next year for sure, because he has been just collaborating with us for the last 2-3 years. And Anders, the man who is going to do the presentation, is trying to phone and contact Thomas just to say hello to him, because the two of them has presented the project that we are going to see today. So there we can see Thomas. Thomas, you are yes, leave it, Thomas. You are online. I don't know if you can listen.
It's a long way to Sweden, so here.
Okay.
You went out into the bush.
Okay. Okay. So can we talk to him?
Hang on a second. I will reconnect.
Okay. Okay, Thomas, how are you? How do you feel?
Hello, Raoul. Feeling. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
After the circumstances, hanging in there,
We are missing you this year, but hopefully you will be fully recovered by next year, and we will have Mr. Thomas Carlson here with us in the conference. Yes, if you want to, before starting, Thomas is a very well-recognized photographer, not just in Sweden, but in the Scandinavian countries. He's a real figure over there, and his work is related to the Gothic, fantastic. He usually explores things related to the horror and terror. And basically, he has created a video that we are going to, a project that we are going to see in a sec, after presenting Anders and a few words by Anders. And Thomas, can you tell us something about the project, about the creation, something that you can share with our audience, please?
Yeah, we can talk about a little bit about the background to the project. Is an important thing to imagine, talk about. Ard at the end of the fourth age, as the movie is named, is a movie that is around the Tolkien book Arda at the end. You know, Arda, Places and Landscapes, that Daniel Pengasos has written for Legendaria, and they asked me if I want to illustrate the book, and as soon as I said yes, I felt that why the hell shall I do another illustration? It's okay, illustrations is fun to do for books and shit and be published, but I felt that I want something more. And this time we have speaker, a storytelling voice, we have still pictures, we have motion pictures, and we have music by Anders Nordgren that is sitting in front of the computer and looking cute. So it's a multimedia project, I should say, because to bring the audience to a new perspective, because when you have a lecture and you talk about your pictures, it's quite boring to talk about how taking the pictures, and so this is a new thing to do. You press the play button, and the pictures and the music and the voice speaks for itself.
Okay, so that's a super. I find it pretty interesting, a super idea, and we really can't wait to start watching it. I have realized that you looked at it, so take care, my friend. Okay, take a rest. We will enjoy your project today. Then on Thursday in the Jimmy Jazz, we will have your exposition. We will go there to show it openly. We will miss you also in the round table that we will have after that. But anyway, you are in our hearts. You know pretty well. Yeah. Okay, we love you and take care, recover, and we will see you next year.
And enjoy the movie.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Thomas. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good, Thomas. To talk to you later in 38 minutes, you know.
Yeah,
you know.
I know. Catch you later, man.
Bye until then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so now I'm going just to do a kind of short introduction about Anders, okay? He's a Swedish composer, filmmaker, video creator, and photographer. So a lot of things, right? With 35 years of experience being a digital pioneer in all professions related to creative work of searching for the magic of building bridges between different genres. So it's a good way, you know, of presenting yourself, I guess. He started as a French horn player, an organ player, so in the mid-80s, so it means that you also are, you know, a musician with a proper background. And he's a member of the, I don't know if I can pronounce it properly, Jönköping Symphonic. Yeah.
It's a strange city in Sweden. Yeah.
Okay. Jönköping Symphonic Orchestra for 10 years. And also a key member of an art rock band. He has composed and produced music for films and storytellings. His artistic name is Muluax Music, and we can find him in Spotify, YouTube, Music Apple, and many other platforms. So this is the presentation, and now it's your turn.
Thank you, sir. How friends, lovely to see you. It's a big honor for us to be here, Thomas and I. You saw him. I'm a composer, photographer, film editor, motion picture effects, and so on and so on. You could say I love storytelling. You can understand that. Thomas mentioned a little bit that what we have tried to do is that he went out into the bush and created incredible still pictures. He sent those to me, and then I dig into trying to make music to them. But not just that, because we also would like to animate the still pictures, so more or less they are looking a little bit like video. So suddenly we have made a film of still pictures with music by me. And the whole essence about this are, this technique, of course, the nature of Tolkien. Because as you, for sure, you know that Tolkien has a very, very close relationship to the nature. And when you read the books, there is a lot of love according to nature all the time. And I mean, for example, he's talking about the trees in Endor. He says, trees purified the air. They also purified the mind. If you want to save the world, you must save the trees. And according to the time we are living in right now, you could think a long time about those words, indeed. Anyway, you haven't come here to listen to me saying blah, 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 blah. So, please, pack your backpack, fill up your water bottles, because now we are going to an adventure. Enjoy, folks.
The history of Arda begins when Ilúvatar embodies the thoughts that Aino brought forth during the music and sends the imperishable flame to dwell in the heart of the world. This is the beginning of Ea, the world which is. Arda, place and landscape is a chance for those who have recently arrived in Middle-earth to discover some of the most beautiful places that existed within the legendarium. And also for the seasoned Tolkien travel to visit some of the marvels that have enchanted them for years, just like Tinkor was enchanted for Melian in Nan-Elmot. So prepare your backpacks, pull out your maps and fill up your water bottles. We are about to immerse ourselves in the whole inner consciousness of reality expressed by Tolkien's work. North of Kalasiria on the coast of Aman, there was a great arch, sculpted by the sea, which gave access to a natural harbor. In this place, the Teleri built the city of Alcolonda, the principal settlement on the continent. The light of the true trees hardly reached the city, which was illuminated by the shining stars and by many lamps of gold and other colors. Alcolonda was also covered in pearls that the Teleri had found in the sea and gems given to them by Noldor. Known as the fairest place in Arda, Lorien was full of silver rivers, flowers and lakes. It was inhabited by nightingales and many spirits at the service of Irmo and Estia. The wells of Lorien were visited by the elder, the mayor, and even the Valar for rest and refreshment. The exact location of Lorien is difficult to determine. It seems to have been a place that was accessible both to the Valar and the elders, situated near the two trees, which be placed in the eastern part of the continent, not far from Valamar Lorien. Outside of the western gates of Valmar stood a hill on which Teleperim and Lorien grew. The two trees sprouted there after Javan hollowed the place, and Niana watered the mound with her tears, while the rest of Valar watched. Under the trees the wells of Valar were found, great woods almost as big as lakes, in the which Varda watered, the dew falling from the Teleprion and Laurel. The first capital of Númenor must just be one of the most curious cities that ever existed in Arda. It was situated in the region of Andostar, with one part of the city hugging in the bay and another part sprawling across the steep hillside which reared it. In the first years of the kingdom, Antonia was the largest city on the island and was visited by the elves coming from the two Erese. The eyes of an Icelander or a visitor who traveled inland were inevitably drawn to the Meneltarma, the tallest mountain of Númenor, located in the region of Mitalma. It had 5 shoulders that extended across the central part of the island, dividing it into 5 distinct regions. The tombs of the kings and queens of Númenor are found on the southern slopes of the Meneltarma in a valley called Noirna. The great forest that provided Númenor's shipyard with wood were located in southeastern part of the island, in the region of Hyrostar. The southern coast of the region was dominated by beaches with white sand, while the settlement of the Nidamos, the major fishing port on the island, was situated on the western border next to the mouth of the river Cyril. During the years of trees, Melkor built Angband to be used as a fortress and an army outside of Utumno, his stronghold in the north. The citadel was located close to the northwestern coast of the Great Sea in the Iron Mountains, and served as a first defensive structure against any attacks coming from the west. While Elve was walking in the woods of Neldoret and region, he discovered a forest of Nanelmot. There a spell fell upon him, and he forgot about his people, following the birds to the deepest parts of the woods, to a clearing illuminated by the stars, where he found Melian. Elve instantly fell in love with her, and once he touched her, he was unable to move. Sometime later, Nanelmot became the home of Eol, the Dark Elf. Northwest of Doriath, outside the girdle of Melian, there was a densely forested area on the borders of Dortinia, which received its name from the birch tree Bretil in Sindarin that grow thickly in the region. Thingol allowed the people of Halat to dwell here, and in exchange they defended the crossings of Teglin. south of Brafil, in the midst of the wild moors, between the rivers Siron and Norog, stood the hill of Amon Rud, the name which means bold hill in Sindarin. It's due to the fact that nothing grew up on the rocky hillside except the red Saragon. The pitted dwarves dwelt there in hiding for many years, building pathways and entrance around the summit. When Isildur and Anorin arrived in the middle of after surviving the fall of Numenor, they sailed upstreams on the waters of the Anduin, the river that flows across Endor from Roanoke to the Western Sea. The two brothers established the kingdom in exile of Gondor on both sides of the river, while their father Elendil founded the kingdom of Arnor in the north, west of Anduin. One measure of length of the river is the amount of name it's received on behalf of different people settled along its shores. The Ethelred called it Langflow, while at Rivendell and in the Shire it was known in Westron as the Great River of the Wilderland, and in Gondor it went under the name of the Great River. The Barodons were haunted by evil spirits, sent there by the Witch King after a great plague spread across the Cardolan. The area then became a place of terror and was never again inhabited. The witch that dwelled there were awakened by the selfsame Witch King for the purpose of catching the ring bearer. And they would have managed to do so if it hadn't been for the arrival of Tom Bombadil, who saved a group of hobbits. In the far east of the Middle-earth, on the shores of the inland Sea of Helkar, was the Bay of Koivunen, where the first elves awoken during the years of trees in the War of the Wrath. Koivunen was destroyed and the Elder could not find it ever again. Celebrimore, the road that connected the city and the Dwarf Kingdom, favored the commercial bonds between the two communities and made it possible for the two kingdoms to reach the higher points of splendor. Sauron was attracted by the flourishing city and its artisans, and arrived at its gate at its most beautiful form, under the name of Anatar. the most fertile region of Mordor was known, where the ash falling from the Mount Doom provided the soil with nutrients that made it possible to grow things there. The plantation depended on the rainfall, since the water of the Lake Nirn was salty. Sauron turned Mordor into his center of evil, and from where he attempted on several occasions to extend his dominance across the Middle-earth. Built as a refuge for those who escaped from Sauron's attack on the Eredor, the river there was located on the edge of a gore of the river Bruin, hidden among the folds of the foothills of the Misty Mountains. The upper part of the valley was populated by pines, and winding paths led to the bottom of the valley, mainly populated by oaks and beeches. At Rivendell, Elrond kept the charge of Nazril, Elendil's sword, the scepter of enemies, and the star of Elendil, all which were heirlooms of the lost kingdom of Arnor. Uncomfortable inside the barrels, Thorin and company left Thranduil's kingdom floating down the forest river until they reached the long lake and the city of Esgaroth. The city was located on the western side of the lake, just north of the mouth of the forest river. Esgaroth was built entirely of wood on pillars stuck in the bottom of the lake and was connected to the shore by means of long bridge, likewise made of wood. The kingdom of extended across the entire forest, but because of the invasion of the dwarves and the growing power of the Sauron, the people of the realm were gradually displaced to the north. During the War of the Last Alliance, Orfra, who led an army against Sauron, was killed. He was succeeded by his son Thranduil, who ruled the Woodland realm peacefully for many years.
Okay, so after this impressive yes presentation with a lot of it's an amazing number of images, sounds. We are on a rush, so we have time just for a couple of questions. So if you have any question that you want to do.
Everybody's silence.
You have a question over there.
Well, I've got a couple of questions. Well, hello. Thank you very much for the images. I really enjoyed them. And being a fan of photography and music and so on, I was curious to see the use of the technique of double exposure for some of the shots and having a picture overlaid by another one, and which I find really attractive as a technique. And I was curious about the use of having some more dull colors in some of the pictures and then some more saturated colors. So I wanted to know what was the logic behind the use of more colorful pictures and then some of them which were, black and white or more dull in some sense, with less color and so on.
Thomas is shortly going to brief you about the technique. But we are also playing with and without color and saturation and less saturation as a part of the story, right or wrong, but that's the way we think. But Thomas, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
There's a very good question from the audience talking about the double exposure and the ICM technique. If you could say briefly, shortly, a little bit about that.
Double exposure, multi-exposure is to bring in another dimension in the art of photography. I think it's more to use that kind of techniques in photography to bring another dimension. You get another field of depth when you use the multi-exposure. As a regular still frame, you get one picture and it's almost 2D, It's more a 3D effect when you're starting to use other techniques like multi-exposure and ECM, that stands for intentional camera movement. That means that you take the frame along aperture time, you have around 5-6 seconds per exposure, and under that cycle you move the camera to get some movement in the picture, but still got some, you've frozen the picture in common sense, but some of the picture are blurred out. Because as you work as I do, I work as a photographer and I don't want to spend too much time in front of my computer. Can I get a final result out in the field? Then I'm happy. I hate to sit in front of this computer. It's boring.
Yeah, and a short comment about the thing we are playing with, the saturation. I think it's a little bit connected to this, more or less.
About the movie, you're thinking, Anders? Yeah?
Hang on a second. Once more, sir, the thing, if I follow you correctly.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know what was the logic behind using some pictures with very bright colors and then some others with more black and white and less exposed colors.
I don't know. This is a project that involves a lot of people, involves Anders, involves Martin Simonsson, and Daniel Pengaso. A lot of people are involved in this process. It's not a one-man show, it's a combined show. And, the people that likes to write books, they like to see color. So they ordered colors, and I had to adjust to the colors to the other illustrations in Arda Places and Landscapes, because they are colors. If I had chosen monochrome. I don't, the color picture is too bright, too screamy, you get everything served on a silver plate, when you get a color picture. You don't leave anything for your imagination. As you do in black and white, you have to process the picture in a different way. You have to start to see behind that what was the color at the scene. But the authors want color, they get color, and I want black and white, but yeah.
So we have a lot in between.
Yeah.
Is that the answer? Okay, good. Anything more?
No questions?
Everybody are hungry, I believe.
Probably. So that's everything for
Thank
now. We will go on with the conference, and I think that we can say thank you to the two artists. So we will see you here again at 3 o'clock. Bye.